Welcome to day one of the free Life Coach Intro course. I'm Tim Laskus, and before we begin with our first lesson today, let me give you just a little bit of background information on myself. Well, again, my name is Tim Laskus, and I'm the founder of Coach Wherever, a life coach school. I have a PhD in clinical psychology from the California School of Professional Psychology, which is fully accredited by the American Psychological Association. I'm also a honors graduate from Rutgers University, where I received my bachelor's degree in psychology. I've been a life coach since 2003, and it's been an amazing ride all these years working with clients from all different walks of life. I've worked with everyone from moms to small business owners and even to high profile professional athletes. And I've logged thousands of hours of clients from different backgrounds, working in a variety of settings. This includes my time working as a clinical psychologist and as a life coach. I'm a podcast host of Coach Wherever, a life coach school podcast, where every week I produce a new episode on skills that help the listeners improve their daily lives and to achieve their goals. I'm also an author of Finding Your Costa Rica. You'll see a picture of it, of the cover at the very bottom there. And the subtitle is Five Powerful Steps to Personal, Professional, and Financial Success. And this was a book that I actually finished writing in Costa Rica. And it's, although I love Costa Rica and I love traveling there, it's not a travel guide, but it is a self-help book. And it outlines 5 steps that help me to actually get to where I am today. And it gives you some of my background story. I was also a commencement speaker to the graduating class of 2008 at Webster University, which was a real honor, and I enjoyed speaking with the students there. Now, on to our first lesson, and that is life coaching for you? So, it's not for everyone. Many people think that life coaching is just something that's easy and anybody can do it, and you make lots of money when you start out, and you know what, you can make a very good living, but it's not for everyone. And one of the first areas that I like to dive into is looking at your personality style. So someone who excels at being a really good life coach has a unique personality that allows them to be able to do well. And the first is being outgoing. If you're someone who enjoys being around others, you really get your batteries charged by being, with people, then that's a good indication that, life coaching may be a good industry, for you. It makes sense because you're working with people, so you need to be somewhat outgoing. And not everyone is outgoing, not everyone enjoys, so much interaction with people, and that's fine, nothing wrong with that. But those who typically do really well within the industry as a life coach are typically just naturally outgoing, and they enjoy helping people. And that really is the bottom line. People who get into life coaching need to have a kind of a really deep down desire to help improve the lives of other people. And if that's not your primary focus, then probably it's not a good industry for you. But that should be your first and foremost focus. But even life coaching aside, just working with people, being around people, and if you've been someone who just likes to reach out and help family, help friends, you're not getting anything in return, not financially, but you do get in return, that feeling and that sense of satisfaction that, wow, I really helped this person. And so for me, that was a true indication that me being in the helping industry, Um, it was for me. I remember starting out as a volunteer, my goodness, way back in the early 90s. And I volunteered in a day treatment facility for adults with chronic and persistent mental illness, and I wasn't getting paid anything. And I truly enjoyed it so much. I mean, it was the first time I had done something where, paid or unpaid, that I truly couldn't get enough. I just had this intrinsic satisfaction, this sense of accomplishment by helping people. So if that's something that you have, then definitely life coaching is for you. Um, Solving problems, is this something that you're kind of drawn to, or are you kind of always kind of trying to stay away from problems and not trying to be a problem solver? So not only do you need to be able to enjoy helping people, but enjoy solving problems. Because part of life coaching is people are coming to you with issues, whether it's personal issues, professional issues, whatever it might be. They're looking to get answers to their problems. And so if you're someone who likes to put on that investigative hat, so to speak, then definitely life coaching is for you. Also, having good communication skills. Are you someone who enjoys and does a really good job at explaining, you know, your thoughts, being able to communicate what's going on with you, maybe being able to communicate what's going on with another person, whatever it might be. Just having good communication skills and being kind of cool, uh, and you don't get frazzled easily, which I didn't include in this, but as I'm talking about it now, it makes a lot of sense. So, you've met people who you're like, what did they just say? And I'm not sure, if they really put it in the simple terms that I can understand. Um, and that can be confusing for people if you're working with clients. So having good communication skills and being able to relate information to others in a very simple and just matter of fact way is something that you need. And also, if you are a person who you've kind of found yourself in these positions over the years where friends and family were calling you throughout the day and maybe even at night, looking for your guidance and your assistance in dealing with maybe relationship issues, or they've come to a roadblock in their life and they wanted someone to help them along the way. People tend to gravitate to others who they feel comfortable with, and that shows a lot about you. So if you're someone who people are coming to, then that shows that you have the characteristics and kind of the overall personality style that people want to talk to, people want to relate with and they feel comfortable with. So that's a really, really good indication that you're someone who belongs in the field. Now, let's look at motivation. Being a life coach also means that you're going to be self employed, or maybe you do it on the side, and that's fine too, whichever. But you have to be someone who can regulate their day and their schedule and be a good self starter. If you're someone who really depends on others to kind of, tell you what needs to be done throughout the day and what you need to do, what your schedule is, life coaching may not be for you. But if you're someone who really enjoys kind of taking control of your day and what you do and how you do it, then that's a pretty good indication that life coaching is for you. Do you have that entrepreneurial spirit, so to speak? Do you often dream about being able to provide for you and yourself, your family, and being able to make money and make a career and a living on your own terms, so to speak, without having, to depend on a job or a boss, so to speak. Although when you are self-employed, you every client that you have in reality is your boss, but it's a different kind of relationship other than your traditional boss where you go to work and whatnot. But your clients are paying you, and so in one way they are your boss, but again it's a very different relationship than kind of a traditional boss setup. Holding yourself accountable kind of goes along with being a self-starter. But are you someone who maybe you have set out to accomplish certain goals throughout the day, the week, or the month, and you started them off, but then you didn't hold yourself accountable along the way, so you didn't finish them, which is could be an issue as being a life coach because you're going to wear many different hats. You're going to wear the hat of being self-employed as a business owner. You're going to wear that marketing hat that goes along with that. You're going to wear the life coach hat of working with clients and dealing with paperwork. At times it's very minimal and certainly not as cumbersome as many other businesses. So being able to hold yourself accountable to do the things you need to do to accomplish your goals is very important. Not easily giving up. If you're someone who, as soon as you hit a roadblock and you're just like, all right, I'm done, I'm out of here, don't want to do it, that may be an indication that life coaching is probably not for you because it's trial and error when it comes to being a business owner, it's trial and error when it comes to marketing. And also, even when you learn the skills of a life coach and you're working with clients, yes, you're going to have clients that make the breakthrough and they learn something and they come back to you and they're like, oh, thank you so much for all your assistance. This is where I was when I started working with you, and this is where I am now, and I just thank you. But there are times when you don't get that. There are times, for whatever reason, it's just not a good fit. Clients walk away and, they end the sessions prematurely. And that's just part of the game. But, you don't want to give up and you don't want to look at yourself as being a failure as a life coach. Having a level of confidence that is at a certain kind of moderate to moderately high level is pretty important. Working with clients and having a good level of confidence really goes a long way because your clients are going to pick up on that. So if you're someone who is not very confident in themselves, in their ability, and certainly in their ability to help, clients are going to pick up on that and they're not going to be so sure of buying into, how and what and being able to trust you as a life coach. So you really need that. So you need it to be able to be successful in building your life coaching practice, but you also need it in working with clients individually because it's going to make a big difference in how they view you. Now, let's look at freedom. So, are you someone who really dreams about being your own boss? If this is something that you really cherish and you kind of hold true as to being something you've always wanted, I just want freedom, and you maybe love hearing stories of people who were able to kind of break away from their traditional job and kind of break those chains, so to speak, of being their own boss and being in control. Is this something that you dream about? Because if it is, life coaching can certainly provide that. Also, the freedom to be able to make your own schedule and not have a boss that tells you, okay, you need to be here Monday through Thursday, from 8 o'clock until 5 o'clock. And you can't go home regardless of what you got to do going on, or you got to ask permission to leave. That can get old for a lot of people. And so being able to make your own schedule and to say, you know what, I don't, have any clients scheduled between these couple hours during the day. I can do what I want. And that is such a relief for a lot of people to have that freedom. Do you wish that you could travel more? The freedom of being able to go on trips. My wife and I, we love going, to the beach, or going to the mountains. We often go up to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and having the freedom to be able to do that is pretty important. And so, if you're someone who loves to take trips to the beach or to the mountains or to Europe or to Hawaii or even Costa Rica, whatever it may be, if you feel like you've never been in a position to be able to have the freedom to do that, well, life coaching can certainly provide that for you. Do you enjoy working in different settings? Working in a 9 to 5 job for many people means that you're sitting in a cubicle, or you're sitting in an office, or you're just at one kind of location every day for weeks, for months, for years, and it gets very boring and very dry. If that's something that you're just tired of and you're just turned off by, but you're excited about being able to work from wherever it is that you want, then life coaching certainly is a good choice. As a life coach, if you wanted to, let's say, relocate your life coaching practice to another state, to another country, If you wanted to live in Hawaii and run your practice from there, you certainly can, because life coaching means that you use technology to do pretty much all of your work using the phone and your computer, your laptop, and you can take those wherever you want. There's there's certain areas of the world I'm sure that doesn't have an internet connection, but for the most part, you can find the internet and the cell phone connection almost anywhere. And so wherever you can find those, you can set up your coaching practice. And if you get bored, maybe you're someone who just, you have a small home somewhere and you want to just kind of travel the world while you're working, you can certainly do that. You could work a couple of months in France. Maybe then you take off to Spain and work a few months. And so you go and you rent a home, you work as a life coach, you're working online on the phone, and you could do that. You wanted to go to South America, maybe you wanted to go to Argentina, wherever it may be, you can work in a variety of settings and never have to be bored of kind of going in day out, day in and day out, of sitting at a boring office, a boring desk, a boring cubicle, and you can take control of that. And so getting excited about being able to take control of, where you can go and where you can work from, but also how much money you can make is a great thing, because a lot of times you're hired for a certain kind of salary, and that salary is going to be the same throughout the year. Maybe you get a small bonus, or maybe you get a cost of living raise, 1% raise. Woohoo! But in reality, it kind of stays the same. But knowing that you can take control of your financial freedom and make as much money or as little that you want, depending on how much time you want to invest in it. So maybe you find that you want to make maybe just an extra $1,000 a month. You could certainly do that. Or maybe you wanted to take this and you wanted to make a couple $100,000. You could certainly do that as well. So, but the choice is really yours. And so having that freedom to be able to make that decision is just wonderful, and you cannot beat that. So these are a couple of areas that are very important to know if, is life coaching for you. So if you fit some of that criteria, then this may be a great industry for you to go into. Now, we're going to end here for today's lesson, but tomorrow you're going to get lesson number 2. We're going to jump in and how to build trust with clients. And then on day 3, we're going to go into basic coaching skills. So I look forward to talking to you then. Take care.